ladies and gentlemen. Today, we are truly honored to have Dr. Amber So, a distinguished leader in the community, actually in the Greater China region and the world, to present us a lecture on Macau's evolving tourism brand. We call it tourism brand, integration and diversification. On behalf of the university, I'd like to express my sincere thanks and deep respect to Dr. So. I guess all of you already know that University of Macau officially conferred the doctorate honor of social science to Dr. So in recognition of his distinguished professional and artistic accomplishments, his significant contribution to the community, and not least his invaluable support to this university. The ceremony was successfully held in 16 November 2012. I could easily spend the rest of my time talking about his accomplishments and contributions. On top of that, I just want to share briefly some of the background of Dr. So. Currently, Dr. So served as a member of National Committee of People's Conference, Political Consultation Conference, Honor Council of Republic of Portugal in Hong Kong, and the Vice President of Chinese Cultural Promotion Society, Committee member of China Federation Literature and Art Circles, etc. So this is a very, very long list. Dr. So also forces cultural exchange and cooperation among the Macau, Hong Kong, China, Europe, and many other places. In addition, he has been dedicating himself to the promotion and development of Chinese culture. One evidence is a great picture he painted for us when we celebrated 20th anniversary in this university. Still further, he works with relentless effort towards sustainable development of the Macau economy. Currently, he is Chief Executive Officer of SGM Holding Limited. In his more than 35 years of service in local gaming industry, Dr. So has contributed much to its regulation, professional development, and diversification. In 2008, he ushered Macau into an international financial market by planning and facilitating the Hong Kong Stock Exchange to list SGM, Macau's only local voted gaming concession. In addition, Dr. So also has a passion for cultural pursuits. He founded Macau Sino Latin Foundation and the Association of Chinese Cultural Arts of Macau to propagate the Chinese culture and use it as a platform for cultural exchange. Dr. So is also an accomplished practitioner of Chinese choreography. He has held numerous solo choreography exhibitions and some artwork here in mainland China, Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, and many places. Last but not least, as for his relation with our university, Dr. So shows his deep concern with its development. He has on many occasions donated his calligraphic work to the university and served as a guest speakers in a variety of our forums and seminars. As a member of an advisory board member of the Faculty Business Administration, Dr. So has also particularly contributed to the progress of our Faculty of Business Administration. Dear colleagues, students, and friends, please join me in welcoming our speaker today, Dr. Amber So Zhu Fan. Thank you.
Council Chair Dr. Chen, Rector Professor Zhao Wei, Vice Rectors, Dean Jackie So, distinguished guests, media friends, I'm very pleased to be here to speak to you about Macau's evolving tourism brand. Macau's tourism brand is a mixture of how other people see us and how we want to be seen. It is determined by elements that are out of our control, as well as elements that are within our control. In an increasing competitive world of tourist destinations, our tourism brand is too important to be left to passive evolution. Given that so much of Macau's employment, a recent report by the Statistics and Census Service showed that 1 out of 4 employees work for a gaming company, not to mention our government's revenue, depends on tourist spending. We can be sure that the image that Macau projects to its visitors and potential visitors will receive a great deal of attention in future from both the private and public sectors. Indeed, as we shall see, the cultivation of Macau's tourism brand will necessarily be a kind of partnership between the government and the private sector. Early recognition of these facts will enhance the positive results for all. Today, I'll be making predictions and also recommendations for Macau tourism, but it is necessary to start first with a view of the assets that Macau has on its tourism brand balance sheet. Macau has unique assets that inform its tourism brand. First, Macau is China's earliest point of contact with the West, which has a history of 500 years. Macau's East-West culture blends traditionally and modern China with Portuguese and other European cultures. There is also the fostering of a hybrid Macanese culture. Casino gaming is another famous characteristic of Macau. It was legalized in 1847, 84 years earlier than Las Vegas. And Macau is now the world's largest gaming market in terms of revenue. Macau has a privileged location, situated away from, but very convenient to, the heavily commercialized and populated area of Hong Kong and the bustling Pearl River Delta region, served by no fewer than 5 airports, and increasingly by China's national rail network. A topography of islands, harbors, and hills adds to Macau's standing as a place unlike any other in the world. In popular culture, particularly in movies and fiction, Macau has been featured so many times that a collective impression has been created, whether true or not, of a city of intrigue, adventure, and romance. One more characteristic of our special city is that Macau has evolved and remained distinctive by reinventing itself at certain intervals. As Macau has moved from fishing to manufacturing and then to tourism, with gaming at the core. Just as previously areas of maritime or missionary activities left their marks on the city, so did the more recent eras, with events such as the Macau Grand Prix and Macau Food Festival becoming local traditions, museums and cultural performances being added to the economics mix, and UNESCO designating Macau's architectural image. A look at the past will also show how Macau's brand identity is strongly influenced by the important players in the private sector. It is apparent that over the past 50 years, the brand identity of the company that Dr. Stanley Ho built became largely synonymous with brand identity of Macau. Dr. Ho was aware of this when describing his company back in 1962. Here is a news clipping dated 3rd of January 1962 from the South China Morning Post, which contained the famous quote by Dr. Stanley Ho. He said, "The view that our enterprise is merely one of a gambling character is a misconception. Our purpose is to bring a new prosperity to Macau and to improve the welfare and living standard of its citizens. This year, we are celebrating both the 10th anniversary of SJM and the 50th anniversary of its parent company, STDM. So let's revisit their contributions to Macau and their impact on Macau's tourism brand. Hotel Lisboa, opened in 1970, was the first integrated casino resort in Macau. Made in Macau, the famous Lisboa brand has led to the growth of the economy and attracted international hotel groups to invest in Macau. It has also established itself as a destination within a destination, with an architecture and ambience that partake both of Chinese and Portuguese elements, but without sacrificing modernity. Without being immodest, I would say that Hotel and Casino Lisboa made a huge contribution to the image that tourists and potential tourists have of Macau even today, 42 years later. The name Lisboa has become synonymous with the experience of a visit to Macau. Going to Lisboa? Oh yes, go to Macau. 正如好多人成日話要過大海去葡京同阿新哥搞下手瓜。State-of-the-art tourist infrastructure, particularly in transportation system, was developed during the STDM era. Hydrofoils, jetfoils, and helicopters were introduced early, as well as dredging of the Macau harbor to a usable depth, which is now the responsibility of SJM under the concession agreement, has kept Macau's maritime channels open, bringing in millions of visitors every year. Similarly, STDM took on responsibilities to provide financial support for other modern infrastructure projects, including the airports, the ferry terminal, and the Friendship Bridge, and assisted the government in the development of the Outer Harbour and the Nam Wan Lake neighborhoods. STDM also added to Macau a major landmark, the Macau Tower, at a time when the economy needed stimulus. The preservation and renovation of Macau's historical sites was conducted by STDM also during this period. Prior to the heightened interest in these activities that resulted from the UNESCO Heritage designation. In an early public-private partnership, STDM contributed to the funding of Macau government's tourist information centers overseas, which played a large role in Macau tourism before the establishment of the individual visitor scheme of mainland visitors. Upon the opening of the gaming market, SJM continues the tradition of contributing to the society and regularly donated to educational institutions, charities, cultural events, and other projects. And in 2008, SJM was listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, helping to establish Macau in the international financial market. When the market opened to other operators, the brand identity that SJM had established became one of the company's most important competitive assets, an important component of Macau's brand identity. No other concession holder could claim a local identity or match the local knowledge and experience of SJM. The great majority of visitors come from Greater China or from overseas Chinese communities. They seek a rewarding travel experience, a different experience, but one that is positioned within their zone of comfort. I call this kind of experience 和而不同嘅旅遊經驗, harmony in difference in tourism experience. However, no matter where the visitors come from, they come to Macau to experience Macau, and they will only return if their experience is a satisfying one. SJM identifies itself to visitors as a company that offers a genuine Macau experience. When it came time to build our flagship property, the Grand Lisboa, we did not build a Las Vegas copy, but rather a building that was unique to Macau, with its golden lotus design that evokes the symbol of Macau, a new icon for Macau. SJM continues the tradition established by STDM by sponsoring local organizations and signature events, enhancing our brand as well as that of Macau. For example, we converted the regional casino Gombek into Gombek Community Center and regularly sponsor cultural performances. We organized the Italian White Truffle Charity Auction, the first of its kind in Macau, with all proceeds raised from the auction donated to local charities. And we set up SJM Scholarship for nurturing of future talents for society. This year, SJM is proud to be the sole official sponsor and the largest partner of the Macau Grand Prix for the second consecutive year. And next Wednesday, on the 5th of December, we will bring to Macau its first fine wine charity auction, which is expected to be a new highlight in Macau's events calendar. Even if you are not a gambler, you must be aware that there are some very big bets being placed in Macau, not only by the players, but also by investors and bankers. In the past 7 years, the 6 gambling concession holders have invested over 100 billion in new casinos and related facilities, and in the process have generated 6 listings on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, with a total market capitalization of over 600 billion. The magnitude of this investment activity will have its impact on Macau's tourism brand for many decades to come. And furthermore, Macau is now starting its second wave of casino expansion under the current concession. This expansion will result in the final build-out of the Cotai reclamation with half a dozen casino resorts. Coupled with the expansion of the local and regional infrastructure, we are seeing investment and financing activities out of proportion to Macau's small size. Here are some of the recent milestones achieved by Macau. In 2007, Macau's gaming volume surpassed that of Las Vegas, and in 2009, surpassed the combined state of Nevada and New Jersey. I can't resist mentioning also that since 2010, the gaming revenue of SJM alone has surpassed that of Las Vegas. The employment rate in Macau is currently as low as 2%. Compared to 1999, The territory added about 26% to its land area with the Cotai landfill, and another 12% of land is planned to be added to Macau over the next few years. The Macau government received about 100 billion from gaming tax last year, almost twice as much as their budgetary expenditure, which included rebates of 7,000 per resident, and as you must know, the rebate will be increased to 8,000 next year. With a population of about 570,000, Macau has a GDP of more than 530,000 per capita, making it one of the richest economies in the world. Visitors to Macau totaled 28 million in 2011, about 50 times the number of residents. The characteristics of Macau tourism income is that it is dominantly composed of gaming revenue. If you aggregate the revenues of Macau's 6 casino concession years, you'll find that almost 95% of the total comprises gaming revenue, while only about 5% is revenue derived from non-gaming activities. So what is Macau's tourism brand today? Macau's tourism brand is shaped by two outstanding features that it presents to the tourist. They are, first, Macau's unique hybrid culture and history, as reflected in its architecture and heritage sites. And second, Macau is the place where casinos are, in fact, the only place in Greater China. I admit that surveys of visitors to Macau usually reveal a longer list of interests held by various visitors. But in reality, Macau's tourist appeal is much narrower, as revealed in the short-term nature of visits. Over the past 10 years, the length of stay by Macau visitors has increased only moderately. Still today, over half of the millions of visitors to Macau do not stay overnight in a hotel. And those that do stay overnight are visiting for less than 2 nights. Were Macau to offer a broader range of attractions and activities, the length of stay would inevitably increase. From the casino industry perspective, we know that most of Macau visitors made their decision to enjoy a brief visit to Macau only shortly before the trip. The majority of visitors that you can observe are not in Macau on their annual vacation. They did not plan their trip 6 months earlier, and they are not with their entire family. Changing this visitation pattern will require modifying the image of Macau in the minds of potential visitors. Though this change is encouraged by both the Macau SAR administration and by the central government, it poses a particular challenge to Macau in view of the small size of the city. So what does the future hold for Macau's gaming and tourism industries? For Macau's role within China and the region, and for Macau's tourism brand? Will it be our destiny to merely to be labeled a gaming mecca or a gaming hub? I believe it is safe to say that the future will yield still more growth and change for Macau, and that two concepts will become more and more important. That is diversification and integration. As supported by evidence for this prediction, I encourage you to take a look at China's 12th five-year plan and how it addresses Macau. According to the plan, the central government will boost cooperation between Macau and the mainland in several specific areas. advancing the goal of turning Macau into a world center of tourism and leisure, promoting the moderate diversification of the Macau economy and to accelerate the development of its leisure tourism, convention business, Chinese medicine, education services, cultural and creative industries, strengthening regional cooperation between mainland Hong Kong and Macau, and emphasizing Macau's role as a platform between China and Portuguese-speaking countries. Not only does the 12 five-year plan set forth the global role of Macau, you can see the same destiny expressed by the Guangdong-Macau Cooperation Framework Agreement, the Pearl River Delta Region Reform and Development Plan, and the Hengqin Overall Development Plan. With the encouragement and support of the central government, then we will see the development of a broader range of tourism activities. Some of these will complement and add on to the core element of casinos. Others will be alternatives to casino-related facilities. These new facilities will attract more visitors who will have a wide diversity of age and consumer taste, and who will spend a longer time in Macau. Macau benefits from the vast China hinterland and from the central government's policies to build infrastructure that improves transportation nationally and promotes regional economic integration. The central government's policy towards balanced economic development of the mainland is another factor with implications for Macau. For tourism is definitely within the consumer spending space, and as for China, promotes domestic demand, including domestic tourist spending, and develops the supporting infrastructures, opportunity for further of growth in Macau are manifested. Another certainty in Macau's future, however, is competition, as more destinations in Asia will offer casino facilities. Needless to say, Macau is challenged to stay competitive and to differentiate itself from alternative destinations. The total menu of attractions and activities that Macau offers will thus become a more prominent part of our image. Last year's entry of Singapore into the gaming market is an instructive experience for Macau and shows how our industry is capable of coping with new gaming destinations that aspire to draw from our client base. Competition from the Asian region will only heighten in future years, though as casino industry are expanding in the Philippines, Korea, Vietnam, and Cambodia, and other areas, notably Japan and Taiwan, are seriously considering establishing casinos. At the same time, Macau will be adapting to certain changes in its primary market. To be sure, the traditional short-term visitors to Macau will continue to be an important part of the market. These are the visitors who stay in the territory from a few hours to a day and a half, mainly to enjoy the casinos. However, changing economic conditions, including growth of the China consumer market and increase in leisure time, are stimulating a market segment that is relatively new for Macau. This segment comprises vacationers, multi-day stayers, families, and conventioneers. Much of this new traffic to Macau will be accommodated in the Cotai area, where new hotel capacity will be added. Though the Macau Peninsula will continue to flourish due to the location of Macau's World Heritage Sites, as well as the main entry points for visitors. We should also note that the importance of Hung Tien Island in the future development of Macau's tourism industry, as stated in the report on the work of government at the 11th National People's Congress in March this year. We support Macau in becoming a world center of tourism and leisure, building the Hung Tien new area and diversifying Macau's economy as necessary. The central government's policy towards the development of Hung Tien Island is a wonderful opportunity for Macau to coordinate with the surrounding region in offering more attractions that will encourage visitors to spend a longer time. Macau is constrained by its 29 square kilometer size in providing the variety of activities necessary to attract many people, particularly families, to spend their annual vacations. Hung Tien Island, which has more than 3 times the land area of Macau, will accommodate more space-intensive, non-gaming tourism attraction for which Macau no longer has room. The construction of the new university campus on Hung Tien Island will play an important role in the education of professional talent for Macau's tourism industry. Looking to the future, Macau as a world center of tourism and leisure should also possess the function of a world training center for tourism professionals. Instead of sending our students for an internship program in Las Vegas, we should aim at welcoming students from overseas to study in the University of Macau for gaming and hospitality. The Faculty of Business Administration at Macau University, with its various related programs, including the newly established Master of Science in International Integrated Resort Management, should be able to lead Macau on its way to becoming a world training center for tourism professionals. To address the challenge of increased visitation, we are surrounded by a number of infrastructure projects, which include the Guangzhou City Rail System is being extended right up to the Macau border gates at Gong Bei, due to begin operations next year. With a train ride lasting only 45 minutes, coming to Macau for an evening or a weekend will be as convenient for residents of Guangzhou as it has been for the people of Hong Kong. Connection with China's national high-speed rail network will facilitate travel to Macau from other parts of China as well. In future years, the rail system can be extended to Hung Tien Island and even on the Cotai itself. A new border crossing from Zhuhai to Macau has been announced, with a projected capacity to handle an additional 200,000 to 250,000 visitors per day. Another convenient doorway for expansion is the Wan Chai district in Zhuhai, where the construction of a tunnel beneath Macau's inner harbor is being considered. SJM operates the Pont 16 resort on this potentially beautiful waterfront. The second ferry terminal, located at Bak On, Taiba Island, is expected to be completed next year and will be followed in another 3 years by the completion of the light rail system and the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. The bridge will have positive benefits for Macau tourism, and perhaps more than any other projects will symbolize the integration of the region in industry as well as in tourism. With all these developments, we can expect Macau's tourism brand to evolve from today's dominant feature of casino resorts and heritage sites to a destination associated with a diverse range of tourism and leisure activities and integrated to a greater degree with our surrounding region. The process of integration and diversification are changing Macau tourism and will increasingly define Macau's tourism brand in the future. Proximity to the Guangzhou and Hong Kong, plus other destinations in the Pearl River Delta, place Macau in a fortunate position. A visit to Macau will be part of the experience of a visit to this region of China. Attraction from Chinese culture combined with international cultural experiences will create a varied menu of activities for visitors. Macau's unique historical flavor, its unique East-West culture and cuisine, and of course, its casinos, will be seen as parts of something bigger, the diversity tourism experience for visitors from China and from the world. One thing that we do not want to become is another Las Vegas. Not only is the cultural and economic context different, but the geography is radically different. Las Vegas has always been surrounded by inexpensive real estate, while Macau has had to make do with one small peninsula plus 2 islands, augmented by land reclamation from the sea every 20 years ago or so. There is simply no room in Macau proper to accommodate more indoor and outdoor activities to add to the resort mix. The same applies to adding more varied accommodations, such as vacation condominiums, guest houses, 2-star and 3-star hotels. It is expected by everyone that the convergence in terms of tourism revenue split in Macau, which is now 95% derived from gaming and 5% from non-gaming activities. This will change. As a point of comparison, it is notable that revenue stream of the Las Vegas Strip is now comprised of less than 40% gaming. And in other tourism destinations featuring gaming, the proportion is even less. Macau will obviously be changing in this direction and in the future. But my prediction is that the market of Macau will differ from Las Vegas Strip and other markets featuring gaming, both in the proportion of such activities as well as in the entertainment offerings given the diversity in historical and cultural context. A new one-line phrase that summarizes Macau's brand image to visitors has not yet been written. But Macau will no longer be known as the Monte Carlo of Asia or the Las Vegas of Asia. Macau should not turn into a replica of any other tourist city. Macau should be remaining Macau, and its evolution will continue to follow its own unique path, both for important cultural and geographical reasons. With the support of the central government and the leadership of the Macau SAR administration, Macau will become a world center of tourism and leisure while remaining Macau. Last but not the least, I note from the university poster that the students participating today in this lecture, they will be awarded a smart point. 几多星? May I know how many of you are students here? Please raise your hand. My dear friends, I hope this lecture will not only bring you smart points, but also lead you to a deeper reflection on the future of Macau tourism brand and what your role will be in this development. Think deeply and act smartly. May the star in your heart shine. Thank you very much.